This is the Transition News on Atlantic Television Network. Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday directed the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State to proceed with the conduct of its ward, local government and state congresses. While delivering his ruling, Justice Peter Lifu barred the Department of State Services, the police, the Independent National Electoral Commission and 7 others from stopping, truncating or disrupting the conduct of the congresses of the party. The congresses were scheduled to commence on July the 27th across the country, with ward congresses followed by local government congresses on August 26th and then the state congresses in September. The scheduled congresses are to elect new officers that will run the affairs of the PDP at the wards, local governments and state levels of PDP in Rivers State. Following the release of the timetable, the Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt on July the 16th, 2024, barred the PDP from conducting its congresses in the state, and the court's order came a few weeks after Governor Siminalayi Fubara told some National Assembly members that the PDP had failed him and his supporters. The Rivers State Court, presided over by Justice Sobere Biambo, gave the order in a suit filed against the PDP, the party's national chairman, the National Financial Secretary, and the National Organizing Secretary. The applicants are David Chinedu Omereji, Prince Solomon Eke, Isidoye Bin, Godi Manfred Pepple, Okea Precious Chigozirim, Orolo Sama Peter Makri, Good Friday Nweke, Alfred Latham, Wechie Ndubisi Raymond, Mr. Erebie Michael, and Ogenna Adilu Mimulu. Justice Lifu, while delivering a ruling on the ex parte application on Tuesday brought by 6 members of the PDP in Rivers State, however, asked the acting PDP National Chairman Ilia Damagum, National Secretary Senator Samuel Anyanwu, and the National Organizing Secretary Umar Bature to proceed with the conduct of the congresses as scheduled. Justice Lifu also ordered the PDP and the 3 national officers to adhere strictly and honor the provisions of the guidelines, adjusted timetable and schedule of activities duly issued and published, pending the determination of a motion on notice for interlocutory injunction filed along with the motion ex parte. Justice Lifu also restrained PDP and the 3 national officers for ad hoc form within the time stipulated in the guideline from running for any elective office of the party or ad hoc or national delegates position, pending the determination of the motion on notice already filed. One day old male child was discovered dead in a manhole at Ekwe Street, Ikwere Road, Mile 3, Diobu, Port Harcourt, by members of Diobu Vigilante Group. Speaking in Port Harcourt, the Chief Security Officer from Oluoro Woruko, attached to Diobu Vigilante Ghost team, were on patrol. Ibom State Police Command said it has discovered an armory in a private mortuary at Ekeya Okobo local government area of the state. The Commissioner of Police, CP Wahid Ayilara, who stated this while briefing newsmen at the command headquarters, Ikora Abio Uyo, said that the operatives stormed the place on intelligence following the arrest of a kidnapping syndicate, and the syndicate led by a wanted kidnapper, one Obong Efyong, actually known as Condiments, was allegedly responsible for the kidnapping and killing of several persons in the state. The commissioner also paraded 23-year-old Daniel Edem Okon, who was said to have engaged a commercial motorcyclist from Idoro Road to Mbipon, Ikoredin, and on getting to a lonely path, hacked the driver to death, buried him in a shallow grave in the area, and escaped with his motorbike. with his motorcycle. Ayilara also paraded other suspects who allegedly committed various crimes such as kidnapping, rape, trafficking, and vandalism, amongst others, and said that all the suspects will be arraigned in court upon completion of investigations, and thanked the people, government, and sister security agents for their collaborative efforts in fighting insecurity while urging them to maintain the tempo. Akwa Ibom State Police Command said it has rescued who disclosed this at the police headquarters in Ikora Mabio. In Uyo said that Bere was arrested by the 15:30 p.m. through the actionable intelligence. The commissioner said that the police also arrested a wanted kidnapper and his group responsible for the kidnapping and killing of several persons in the state. Ayilara said that the police recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 2 G3 rifles, 1 double-barreled rifle, 5 magazines, and 7 live ammunition, adding that the firearms used by the kidnapper and his syndicates were recovered at a private mortuary being used as the armory at Ekeya in Okobo local government area of the state. Ayilara thanked the state government for their support and sister security agencies and good-spirited members of the public whose credible and timely information led to cautioned residents of the state against participating in the planned August 1st nationwide protest. The Commissioner for Information, Dr. Erasmus Epang, who made the call in a statement in Calabar, said that although Nigerians were passing through a difficult moment, government at all levels was showing enormous commitment to the well-being of the citizenry. He said that the state government will not hesitate to take decisive actions against anyone or group who threatens the prevailing peace in the state, adding that government had implemented several intervention programs as part of its commitment to the well-being of the people. He said no fewer than 117,802 poor and vulnerable households have benefited from the series of interventions by the government, adding that Senator Bassi Otu-led government has initiated improving the quality of life in the state. Epang also said that under the cash transfer program, the State Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs had disbursed about 1.3 billion naira to beneficiaries across the state. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has warned of a national crisis if the All Progressive Congress fails to ensure a free and fair election in the September governorship polls in the state. Obaseki issued the warning during a stakeholders meeting in Benin City and represented by the state's Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, Chris Nehikare, condemned what he called attempts by the APC to negatively spin Obaseki's comments. He accused the APC of trying to exploit the instrument of violence to influence the outcome of the forthcoming election. This is coming after, on Thursday, July the 18th, ahead of the rally to inaugurate the APC National Campaign Council in Benin City, which was held on Saturday, July the 20th, 2024. The party assembled a large number of people around the precincts of the Benin Airport on Airport Road, Benin City, resulting in the unfortunate death of a police officer, Inspector Akor Onu, attached to Mopol 45, Abuja, and the wanton destruction of properties and injuries to several citizens who were going about their lawful businesses. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has accused former governors who led the state in the past over alleged electoral manipulation, which is responsible for the unending corruption, divisive and clannish system of government in the state. Governor Oti, who disclosed it at Wesley Methodist Church, Umuekule, Afugi, Thanksgiving service for the successful burial of Victoria Nkoleka Onwuneme, declared that henceforth leaders that will lead Abia State will emerge through the popular will of the people. The governor, who was at the Thanksgiving service with top members of his cabinet and some legislators, thanked the church for the prayers and support they were giving the administration, adding that his administration was practicing good governance and ensuring equitable distribution of democratic dividends to all parts of the state. He also said that his administration was not interested in state or local governments of origin, but believed that anybody who prays for and pays their tax in the state. In his sermon, the priest in charge, Very Reverend Ogbonnaya Orji, encouraged the people to anchor their faith in God. A high court sitting in Nsukka, Enugu State, has granted an order barring the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, from going ahead with a hostel project. The interlocutory injunction was granted by Justice High Cynthia Oronwa Ezeugu, while delivering judgment in a suit filed by Honorable Nemeka Aleke on behalf of Obupa community against the UNN and Viagem Property and Investment Limited. Aleke, in a suit, had urged the court to stop further development of the 11,900 rooms hostel, which alleged was causing environmental degradation to his Obupa community. Also sought 1 billion naira as damages. Delivering judgment after 4 years of legal tussle, the court held that the evidence of the 6 witnesses presented by the plaintiff was incontrovertible and resolved all the issues in favor of the plaintiff, said that apart from the testimony of witness, a visit by the courts to the judge also ordered the defendants to pay the sum of 20 million naira to the plaintiff, as well as 500,000 naira over the litigation. The Nigerian police force has clarified errors surrounding the redevelopment of police barracks, particularly the Falomore barracks in Lagos State. According to a statement on Tuesday via X, signed by the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, police counter what it describes as misleading write-ups and social media comments alleging the sale of the Falomore barracks land. According to the Nigerian Police Force, the redevelopment initiative is part of a broader strategy to improve living conditions for police personnel and their families nationwide. The force said that the initiative is not limited to Falomore barracks, adding that redevelopment projects will be implemented across all police barracks nationwide over time, and described it as to improve the living conditions of officers and their families. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has called on the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to investigate allegations of unlawful demolitions carried out by suspected armed hoodlums, allegedly accompanied by police officers. The association made the call following a petition received and acknowledged by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution in Lagos, which highlighted a series of disturbing incidents and frowned at the demolitions allegedly carried out on the orders of the Assistant Inspector General and the Special Weapons and Tactics Unit without the knowledge of the Lagos State Commissioner of Police. The petition claimed that on July the 22nd, 2024, one Modupe Onison, alongside police officers from Zone 2 and a group of hoodlums, allegedly launched an attack on the property of Harmony Gardens, causing extensive estimated to exceed 1 billion naira. The petition described how irate youths from Oko Orison apprehended the alleged invader known as Modupe and the hoodlums, handing them over to the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, cracked him, while the Zone 2 police officers overseeing the forceful takeover fled the scene when the CP's team arrived. The estate owner, Dr. Saheed Musa Dolua, intervened to prevent the youths from taking the law into their hands and urged them to allow the police to handle the situation adding that the financial implications of the event have been significant, while the invaders' alleged activities have reportedly led to substantial losses for Harmony Gardens, including the alleged theft of payloaders worth 180 million naira. Osun State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of a medical director, Olayode Akambe Shakiru, for alleged assault and rape of a teenage girl. Confirming the arrest, spokesperson of the command, Yemisi Opalola, said the investigation was being carried out by the police, adding that Shakiru was arrested by a team of policemen from Oke Bale Police Division in Oshobo after the family members of the 18-year-old girl reported the matter. Opalola said that the medical doctor had been transferred to the state's Criminal Investigation Department for further action. Meanwhile, a text message the medical doctor reportedly sent to the victim on WhatsApp telling her of his intentions to secure an employment for her has been retrieved as exhibit in the case, while the elder brother to the victim, who did not want to be named, said the girl did not locate the house when the police took her there to arrest the suspect. Abducted corps members from Ondo State who were released by the kidnappers said that the family of each of the victims paid the sum of 1 million naira before they were set free. The 5 victims, who include 4 corps members and 1 artisan, were kidnapped by the bandits at about 11 p.m. last Thursday at Omi Alafa village in Ifon Use local government area and dragged the victims into the forest. The corps members were going back home after the 3 weeks National Youth Service Corps orientation camp in Enugu and Abia states, and during the raid, the driver and 1 passenger sitting in front of the vehicle were shot dead by the bandits. Narrating their Narrating their ordeal in the incidents, one of the corps members, Patience Andrew, said that the bandits contacted their families and demanded a sum of 30 million naira each for the ransom, but after much negotiations, they agreed to collect 1 million naira. She described the 4 days' experience in the den of the bandits as horrible and hellish, saying they were beaten black and blue by the kidnappers while they were given garri and dirty water to eat once a day. 2 first-year female students of Tai Solarin University of Education in Ijogun, Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. The minister disclosed this on Tuesday while addressing journalists following an inspection of the Apo Kashi Road project first awarded in 2011. Adding that a section of Nigerians on social media have been mobilizing to hold nationwide protests from the 1st of August with the hashtag Tinubu Must Go and Revolution 2024 over the economic hardship. Wike called for patience among citizens, stating that the administration had been in office for 1 year and was working to fix a lot of rot in the country, and also argued that the planned protests were political gimmicks masterminded by political jobbers who sought to gain popularity ahead of the 2027 elections, adding that the efforts of the administration would take some time to show. He also lamented that the politics and lack of capacity that had caused the delay in the completion of the Apo-Kashi Road project awarded in 2011 and promised he would review the capacity of the contractors of each of the road sections and expect the project to be completed within 6 to 7 months after they had shown the capacity to handle the project. Several lecture halls at the Federal University of Lafayette have been submerged by floods following a week-long torrential rainfall in the Nasarawa State's capital city. Eyewitnesses say that most students of the institution were stranded at the school gates as they could not access their classes due to flooding, which submerged several parts of the school premises. One of the students, who simply identified himself as Felix, appealed to the school management to, as a matter of urgency, look into the matter with a view to forestalling future occurrence of the situation, and also faulted the siting of some of the school's edifices in swampy areas and urged federal government to send a team of land surveyors to visit the institution in order to tackle the persistent flooding that had been confronting the university community. Meanwhile, the Nasarawa state government has taken steps to mitigate the effects of the flood in flood-prone tertiary institutions across the state. The State Commissioner for Special Duties on Humanitarian Services and NGOs, Margaret Elayo, who disclosed this shortly after inspecting the multi-purpose hall of the Faculty of Arts, Federal University of Lafayette, which was submerged by flood following the week-long heavy rain downpour in Lafayette, expressed worry over the situation and assured the university management of government support while urging the students to remain calm, as efforts were already in top gear to address the situation. The Commissioner for Special Duties on Humanitarian, Social Services and NGOs reiterated the state government's commitment to finding a remedy to mitigate the impact of the floods and support the university's community to enable its students resume their daily academic activities in the institution. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Abbas Tajuddin, has assured the people of Chinkun and Kajuru Federal Constituency that no single project facilitated by their late member, Honorable Ekene Adams, will be diverted elsewhere. The Speaker, who was represented by the member representing Zango on the platform of the Labour Party, and promised to ensure that no single project facilitated by the deceased was diverted. While commenting on the release of fertilizer, he disclosed that there is no member of the House of Representatives from Kaduna that has received his fertilizer so far, while the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, who was represented by Dr. Yunusa Tanko, described the deceased as a man who loves his people. Leadership of the Taraba State All Progressive Congress have called on President Ahmad Bola Tinubu to consider the state for more political appointments. According to them, this will provide the party members in the state a better sense of belonging and enable them to contribute to national development. The group disclosed this while applauding the president for appointing Abubakar Danisoho, who hails from Taraba, as the new managing director of the Ports Authority, and acknowledged the significant contribution of the APC in the party's victory at the last general elections. Speaking through its state public secretary, Adimas, the group said the entire members of the party in Taraba sincerely appreciate the president for selecting Abubakar Dansoho for this important appointment and the right choice because of his expertise and experience. Nigerian Bar Association in Gombe State has cautioned against the growing use of substance abuse among youths. As a result, the NBA has harped on the need to catch them young, a crusade against the use and abuse of drugs, speaking during a sensitization campaign to commemorate 2024 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, which held at the Hassan Central Primary School. Vice Chairperson Mualim Abdul called on the students to abstain from the use of illicit substances, while also highlighting the inherent dangers of such abuse. According to Abdul, abuse of substance could the future of the younger generation from becoming qualitative and responsible leaders. Jigawa State Governor Omar Namadi says, I'll take that again. Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi says that the planned nationwide protest is not the solution to the country's economic hardship and urged Nigerians to turn to God, repent, seek for forgiveness, and define intervention on the challenges. He spoke during a town hall meeting with 27 groups in Duse, Namadi, while urging the protesters to have a rethink. The meeting had in attendance the Nigeria Labour Congress, the Christian Association of Nigeria, while the National Association of Nigerian Students reportedly distanced themselves from the proposed protest, while Namadi expressed regret over the economic hardship and asked the public to view their predicament as a trial from God. Namadi also said that the federal and subnational governments have been providing foodstuffs and cash to cushion the hardship. House of Representatives Committee on the Northeast Development Commission has called for more funding to enable it to sustain its developmental strides across the region. The committee, led by the member representing Magumeri, Kaga, and Zana, made the recommendation as part of the committee's findings to be submitted to the House of Representatives after a 2-day oversight visit to Bauchi State. Zana, while expressing satisfaction with the critical infrastructure put in place by the Commission across the region, said that there is more to do in the region and calls for funding for the Commission. The Green Chamber lawmaker also said that the committee is fully satisfied with the NEDC project seen so far and hopes the Commission will double its efforts, and hailed the managing director and the entire team of the Northeast Development Commission for a job well done and pledged to relate the findings to the National Assembly. Also speaking, the managing director of the Northeast Development Commission, Muhammad Goni Al-Khali, said that all the projects were aimed at improving the quality of lives of the people of the region. You are watching Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We'll return shortly after this break. Please stay tuned.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old things. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I supposed to pay that one. You remember say me I tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay. Nah. Then pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker. Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time? Money come now. You want divert time? You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali! Kasali! I'm to my car already. I get interview in 30 minutes. Okay. Already. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now, they cause more delay. Which instruction? Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you. No read again. Which time I make you change meter?
Welcome back to Transition News on Atlantic Television Network. And now, to of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has appealed to Nigerians to shelve planned protests against bad governance in the country. The appeal was made known by Information Minister Muhammad Idris, who briefed State House correspondents about a meeting with the president on Tuesday. Idris who urged the organizers of the protest to shelve the removal and unification of forex windows. Senate has passed the Police Act Amendment Bill 2024, seeking to amend the Police Act of 2020. The bill was sent to the upper chamber on Tuesday by President Bola Tinubu. The Police Act Amendment Bill proposes changes to the tenure of the Inspector General of Police, increase the retirement age of police officers from 60 to 65 years and their tenure of service from 35 to 40 years. The new Police Act Amendment Bill will enable an appointed Inspector General of Police to remain in office for 4 years. House of Representatives has passed through third reading a bill seeking to increase the 2020 for appropriation from 28 trillion naira to 35.55 trillion naira. The resolution was passed during the consideration and adoption of clauses 1 and 13 at the Committee of Supply as recommended by the House Committee on Appropriation. In his lead debate, Abubakar Bichi, who represented the harmonized Joint Senate and House report, solicited for the adoption of the committee. The caucus of the 10th House of Representatives has adopted a motion by lawmaker Obi Agwocha for the release of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Agwocha, who represents the Ikwano, Umuahia North, Umuahia South Federal Constituency, who disclosed this during a meeting of the caucus, urged his colleagues to take a definitive position on the ongoing discourse surrounding Mazin Nnamdi Kanu and to explore a politically pressing issue. The position by the influential caucus comes on heels of Agwocha's recent visits to former President Muhammadu Buhari and the successful mobilization of 50 of his colleagues across all parties and the Southeast Caucus of the National Assembly. In his address, Agwocha stressed the importance of a united stance within the minority caucus, highlighting the resolution of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu's case was crucial for national peace, stability, and unity, and called for immediate engagement with relevant stakeholders to advocate for a peaceful and political resolution to the matter, which he expressed the belief that a political solution could pave the way for enhanced national integration and the restoration of trust among various communities. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun has organizers of the proposed nationwide protest to abandon the plan. His comment was in response to social media campaigns mobilizing for a nationwide protest slated for August the 1st due to economic hardship in the country. Speaking during a meeting with commissioners of police in Abuja, Egbetokun said that the country has its fair share of violent protests with dastardly consequences, adding that the last EndSARS protests aggravated crime rates and insecurity in several parts of the country. He urged the citizens to jettison the proposed protest, adding that the police have the responsibility to protect citizens and their properties, adding that measures are in place to ensure that any hoodlum attempting to disguise themselves as protesters will be apprehended. And on to some business tips. Senate has approved 70,000 naira minimum wage for Nigerian workers. The bill, which scaled through 3 stages of legislation, was approved a minute after it was transmitted to the Senate by President Bola Tinubu for immediate passage by the upper chamber. This is coming after President Bola Tinubu recently announced the 70,000 naira as minimum wage for workers in Nigeria following several meetings with organized labor. Correspondent Rotimi Adeoye reports.
The piece of legislation seeks to raise the country's minimum wage from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira and to effect a review of the law after 3 years instead of the initial 5 years. While leading the debate on the bill, Senator Kwame Bamidele said the 70,000 naira was agreed upon by all parties after negotiations.
In response to the agitations and after a series of negotiations between the federal government and the organized labor, the current national minimum wage of 30,000 naira only has been reviewed upward to the sum of 70,000 naira only. This is part of the federal government's short-term measures to mitigate the situation in the country, as efforts are being made to bring about long-term solutions that would align with the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians and bring succor to the country generally.
However, in his view, Senator Tai Mangono, the chief whip of the Senate, said there is a need to review the minimum wage in line with the economic realities in the country.
And highly commendable. And then the second aspect of increasing the minimum wage from 30,000 to 70,000 is equally very, very germane and apt, especially against the backdrop of the effect of the removal of subsidy, which has brought about a corresponding increase in the prices of goods and services. So there is a need to review the minimum wage to bring it in tandem with realities that is prevalent in the society.
In an unanimous vote, after a close consideration of the committee of the whole, the National Minimum Wage Bill scaled through third reading and was passed.
A bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act 2019 to increase the national minimum wage from 30,000 to 70,000 and to reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 years to 3 years, and for related matters 2024. Third reading taken and passed.
The national minimum wage will become effective after President Bola Tinubu assent to it. Rotimi Adewiyi, ATN News, Abuja.
House of Representatives has asked the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission and the distribution companies DISCOs to reverse the tariff hike for Band A customers. This directive was given on Tuesday after the adoption of a report presented by the House Committee on Power, while NERC declared a hike affecting Band A customers who are to pay 225 naira per kilowatt. And the House also resolved to probe the tariff hike pending an investigation, while the chairman of the Committee on Power, Victor Nwokolo, said Nigerians cannot afford the new tariff, and the committee recommended a return to the status quo. The recommendations were adopted by the Committee of the Whole. Oil marketers said that the cost of 1,117 naira per litre for premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, for the monthly subsidy on the commodity has increased to about 707 billion naira. This is coming after the Dangote Petroleum Refinery promised to begin petrol production in August, and the company might export the product following the crude oil supply crisis and other regulatory challenges confronting $21 billion firm and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources on Oil, Heineken Wobri, met with officials of Dangote Refinery, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, as well as Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Abuja. Also, the House of Representatives inaugurated an investigative committee to look into the non-availability of crude oil to domestic refineries and allegations of deliberate hike in the cost of the product for profiteering, while the Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria stated that the landing cost of petrol as of the preceding day was 1,117 naira per litre, and the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria had insisted that the federal government was still subsidizing PMS. Ipman stressed that this was not sustainable and might lead to an increase in the pump price of petrol soon, while the secretary of Ipman, Abuja Suleja, Muhammad Shuaibu, said that though the federal government and the NNPC had claimed that there was no subsidy on petrol, the latest figures by Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria proved otherwise, adding that petrol subsidy was over 700 billion naira monthly, considering the landing cost of the commodity as revealed by Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria. Nigeria Labour Congress has issued a warning against any attempts to suppress Nigeria's fundamental rights to express their views, particularly in the light of the planned nationwide protests. The NLC instead called on protests on August the 1st under the hashtag Tinubu Must Go and Revolution 2024. The presidency, however, describes such calls as treasonable and it has also accused the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his supporters of spreading the hashtags, while in a lengthy tweet published on his X handle and account, the special advisor to the president on information of the protests are not Democrats but anarchists. A statement by the NLC president, Joe Ajero, said that as the date for the widely reported national protest looms, the Nigerian Labour Congress urges President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to invite the leadership of the protest movement for discussions on their grievances, adding that millions of Nigerians are angry about the state of the national economy, especially a situation where most Nigerian families are forced to eat one miserable meal a day, and eating from the dustbin beckons for serious interventions by the government. African group at the World Trade Organization has presented a proposal at its General Council to re-elect Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the Director General of the organization. The Director of Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Adebayo Thomas, who disclosed this in a statement in Abuja, said that the proposal is for members to consider Okonjo-Iweala to run for another term as the Chief Executive Officer of the organization. According to him, the proposal was to also enable the Chairman of the General Council to commence the process of the appointment of the Director General as soon as possible, adding that members resolved that the General Council Chair should start consultations on the process of appointment as soon as approved by Council. Responding, Okonjo-Iweala appreciated all members assuring to respond soonest with her acceptance after a consultation with family members. And next, international tidbits. President Yoweri Museveni, who has ruled the East African country with an iron fist for almost 4 decades, has warned the demonstrators at the weekend that they were playing with fire and they had also forced police on the empty streets of the Ugandan capital, Kampala, ahead of a planned anti-corruption rally that has been banned by the authorities. 3 opposition lawmakers were remanded in custody, police said, after opposition leader Bobby Wine said that